Today we're putting on our happy feet and making a balloon penguin. Hi, I'm Melanie from Balloon Artworks here in Derbyshire in the UK. I've had a bit of a technical problem this time round, so this is a voiceover. Inflate a 260 to a tail of about 3 or 4 fingers and tie. Twist a small bubble of a couple of fingers and twist a loop. So we're making flower petal loops of about 4 fingers, make a twist. And make another one to match this. So bend the balloon over, measure 4 fingers. I like to put one twist and then take a look and compare it to the other loop before I commit to making more twists. And just wrap that little bubble around a little bit. We're going to pinch twist this little bubble. So just take hold of that knot, roll it up slightly. That's just going to soften that bubble a little bit. And then you can just take hold of that knot and bend it over and pull it into those loops. And that's going to help you pinch twist that little bubble. Just wrap the end around a little bit. Break off the end. Save this piece. We're going to need it later. So tie a knot. You're going to need to tie a knot in both pieces. And tie a knot into this one. I'm just letting a little bit of air out because I don't need very much of this. Save this. Now inflate a linky balloon. I'm using a quick link and that was 5 strokes of the Qualatex hand pump. Put a twist into the neck and hang on to that. Inflate the next 6-inch quick link with 3 strokes of the Qualatex hand pump. Wrap the 2 necks over one another and tie. So that's what you've got. Wrap the tip from the larger quick link into the little cluster of loops for the feet. Inflate a black 260 to a tail of about 4 fingers. Let out a little bit of air just to soften the balloon and tie. Take that knot and nozzle, wrap it into the feet and just give the balloon a little stretch just to soften the balloon. Take the 260 up around the side of the body and just wrap it into the neck there. Wrap around a few times. Again, just squeeze and soften and stretch the balloon. And then take the balloon up to the top of the head to where the tip of the quick link is and put a twist. And then make a little loop, a flower petal loop of about 3 fingers and just wrap that around a few times. Take hold of the tip of the quick link and just push out the air. And then take that tip of the quick link and wrap it into that little loop twist that you made. Wrap it round a few times so it's nice and secure. Again, just give your balloon a little squeeze and a stretch before you wrap it around the side of the head. So just follow the contour of the head and just pull it into the neck there. Wrap around a couple of times. So that's what you've got. And then again, just soften that balloon by squeezing and stretching. And we're just elongating the balloon by doing that. Wrap that black 260. Follow the side of the body and wrap into the feet at the base. Wrap around a few times. Just wrap in there and then we can snip off the end and just tie a knot in what's left and wrap the excess around. There you go, that's what you've got at the moment. I'm using a little piece of 260 blue. So just make a bubble of about 3 fingers and then make another bubble to match that one. Bend the 2 bubbles over, twist them together, and then take hold of that knot and nozzle and wrap it around That's a really easy way to pinch twist 2 bubbles. And then we're going to do the same thing with a small piece of 160 black. If you don't have 160, use 260. It will work just as well. You just need to make smaller bubbles. These are 2 bubbles of about 2 fingers, wrapping them together, taking hold of that knot and nozzle, wrapping it through the centre of those bubbles, and then we can just snip off the end of that 160. Let out the air and tie. And then we can just connect the black bubbles to the blue bubbles. Take the excess from the black, wrap it round the back of the blue, through the middle of the black bubbles, and then behind the black bubbles, and then just snip off the end of that blue 260 and tie a knot. Snip off the excess blue. Now we're using that little piece of 260 yellow that we saved, just making a very small flower petal loop of about 3 fingers. I like to pass that knot and nozzle through just to secure that loop, and then snip off the end of that 260 and tie a knot. So just tie those 2 ends together. You can snip off the excess from one side and give the beak a little bit of shaping if you wish to. Use that bit of excess to connect the beak to the neck of your penguin and just wrap around a few times. If you have any excess yellow at the back, just snip that off. Take hold of the eyes and using the excess from that 160 black, pass the excess between the white quick link and the black 260. So you're taking that bit of excess round the back of the head, then bringing it forward, and then take the end of that little piece of black 160 and wrap it through the eyes at the front, and then just position the eyes over the top of the beak. Take a little piece of 160 lime green. If you don't have 160, use 260. It will work perfectly well. And we're making very small loop twists of just a couple of fingers, and then make a second loop twist that is very close in size to the first. It doesn't have to be exact. Close is good enough. And then I like to wrap that knot and nozzle around that second loop just to secure it. And now make a third loop of the same sort of size and wrap those loops together just to secure them. Snip off the end, let out the air and tie a knot. And I'm just using the tip of a 160 red and making a very small bubble and just tying that off. And again, if you don't have the tip of a 160, use the tip of a 260. It does really work just as well. And wrap that little bubble into the cluster of green loops and then snip off the end. Using the excess from the lime green, just pass that around that little black loop and then wrap the excess into the green. I'm using a 260 yellow, making a small bubble of a couple of fingers, followed by a second small bubble of the same size. Bend those two bubbles over, twist them together and take the knot and nozzle, pass it through the centre of those two bubbles to pinch twist. Break off or cut off the balloon and tie a knot. We need to tie a knot in the piece that we've saved because we need to use this for the next set of bubbles, and just snip off any excess. You're going to need 2 of those sets of 2 bubbles and put a twist just over halfway down the side of the penguin's body. Put a twist into that 260 and then take those 2 little pinch twists and just pass them one underneath the 260 and pull it forward and just pull that into the pinch twists, and that's just going to secure those 2 little hands. Do the same thing on the other side. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy this one next.